Zephyr and how it works. I'm going to show you the concept and we'll take a break so people who need help, they can ask each other help and get. So Zephyr is the entire test lifecycle management. So test lifecycle management is very simple. Test case lifecycle management. So how it will work? First thing, you need to create a test cases. First, you need to create a test cases. So you have to create test cases. Please understand, create test cases. So when you create a test cases, the test cases has to be linked with associated story. We have a story. Remember, we created a story, so we can easily link them. Now, test cases will have test steps. It will have test steps, and those test steps you document it. Makes sense? So test case has associated with story, then test steps. When you document it, your team lead will check it and review it and approve it. They have to approve your test case that this is good, you can move forward. But then you have to create a cycle when you're going to run these test cases, because you are working on a sprint. In sprint, you have 10 days. Developers are continually working on story. They are doing tasks, they're completing tasks. So someone needs to verify, yes or no. So the verification QA person will create a test cycle. The test cycle is nothing but window where they gonna run test cases. So they're gonna run test case 1, test case 2, test case 3, like that. And then they create another test cycle where they're gonna run maybe test case 4, test case 5, test case 6. They have another cycle, they're gonna run test case 1 to test case 5. So this will give you an idea when they're gonna run, what test case they're gonna run. Now, they can only run test case when development team complete the story. So whatever story you complete, they will forecast that for this story, because you are about to start, yes or no. When you do sprint, you know what sprint, you took a story, yes or no, because you have already planned for the story, 5 story. So they know the story will be completed. Like goal of exercise, all stories should be completed. So they will plan story 1, story 2 will be, we are doing first, then we'll be finishing in first cycle, then second cycle, then third cycle. And the test cycle is nothing but duration. Now let's say development say, I'm done. Then they will start executing the test cases. They will execute the test cases. So when they execute test cases, there are many things can happen. One, success. Test case success. What would be the other thing can happen? Failure. If it is a failure, then you're going to create a bug, which is defect. What other thing can happen? Excellent. You're blocked. Something cannot be done because something, like example, story is not finished. If somebody did not finish story, I want to test, but story is not finished. How am I going to test? Or I want to test, but server is not working. Database is not working, right? So you will write that. Now let's assume you complete that. Then there are some reports you create. So test execution report, or you can create a traceability reports. There are reports you can create. And using this, you can create a dashboard view and put some of the view in your dashboard. Some people put test dashboard separately. So if you're a QA, you should create a separate dashboard to show how many test cases you are planning, how many you execute, how many pass, how many fail, how many block. Make sense on it? Yes or no? Now, the people who are writing test cases, they know how to write test case. So there are 2 methods in industry. Writing test cases, people use test step Excel file. Like example, I'm testing login for Bank of America. I'm just going to give you example. So if I'm a tester, I'll say write Bank of America URL in the browser. Please see on the screen, everyone. The last thing you do is not saying, right? Because if you're a BA, then you do this thing they call UAT, user acceptance test. So don't make hard for yourself. When I'm explaining, pay attention. I know you're not writing test case, but you're also executing test case. So you better know about it. So if I'm on QA, I'll say writing a Bank of America home URL, and if I press enter, I should expect home page. Yes or no? If I see that step passed. Then I enter username and password. So if I enter username and password, right, and I click on login, it should go to the next page. If I enter incorrect username and password, I should expect error message. So all those steps you will write. Now there are two type of method people use. One, they use Excel. Most people write Excel because it's very popular. But the Zephyr gives you write test steps one by one. You don't need Excel. You can write it, or you can import Excel. You can import Excel and you can do that. Or there is another language called Gherkin. There is another language called Gherkin that they write in Gherkin. So those who are advanced level, BDD, behavior driven development, those who are advanced level, they write this way. Getting job is different type of thing, right? Some people will use advanced level, which is called BDD, behavioral driven development. Behavioral means customer centric, user centric. So you don't write test cases, but you write language like this. You write like this way. Check it out. First, you write a condition, just like a use case. You write a condition given I am on a Bank of America homepage. Homepage. That's condition. Do you agree? Given means condition. When I click login page, login link, sorry. Then I see login screen or login view. When I enter username and password and submit, then I see account detail. Now you can see this is also beautiful English. Yes or no? There are 4 words you need to understand. That's all. Given is the condition. When is the action. And then is a reaction. It's a reaction. Yes or no? So as a QA, you're focusing on these 2 items. As a BA, you need to know all. Now, there is nothing special in English. You can say, can I write something else? There are 5 words you need to use. You have to use given, because given means precondition. When means action. Then means reaction. So QA use assertion, verifications. When, again, user action. Then assertions. So QA focus more on then because they validate. But if you are a BA or Scrum Master or Product Owner, you need to know how to write this, because some of the job description, they will ask you to write this. So let's do one more time. Let's say if I'm doing testing for Google, how should I start? Given I am on a Google homepage, when I type basketball and press enter, then I see basketball data. Makes sense? Let's go to Amazon and see what you can do. Given I'm in Amazon homepage, and when type basketball and press enter, now then I see the page. When I click on the one of the image, I see this detail, then I see the details, right? So you define that given, when, then. Again, you can go in detail or you can break it down. I'm going to show you both of them. This is more for QA, but it is important because nowadays, if you ask me, many companies use BDD driven. So they use this thing. Some company don't use it, they use Excel. So I'm going to show you both of them and then we'll generate the reports. So right now it's time 8:21. Let's take a break. After break, we'll focus on this entire life cycle. No, every company have consistency, but company to company it will vary, right? So some company now switching to BDD, right? BDD is an advanced topic. It's something people are using it. So in a QA automation, we use BDD, right? So those who QA automation, we use BDD. The Excel file is still popular, but some companies started switching to BDD. If you ask me, 5 to 10% companies are using BDD, yes, even till today. But BDD is the future. because there are so many software available which can automate things. Thank you guys, thank you. So let me just review again one more time. We're going to do step-by-step approach. This is kind of new to many of you because those who are not QA or those who have not worked as a QA, you might see something new, but again, it's not that complex. It's a fun, just enjoy the ride. It is a part of your jira, so it's important. Either you are doing or your team member are doing, but someone in your team will be doing this thing. So it's important that you understand. So now I'm going to go through step-by-step approach. I'll create a test cases, okay? And then in part of test cases, I'll create a test steps. I'll show you both way. One is normal way and one is Gherkin way. So I'll cover that part. Then we'll link them. The test cases will link them to the story. Okay. And then we'll try to execute it. And then we'll try to create a cycle. And it's kind of whole enchilada will go through that and generate a dashboard. And that will be our end of our story. It's quite easy. We should be done in 45 to 1 hour, 45 minutes to 1 hour. I'm hoping everyone will follow and we can get started. So let me go back to our project. And if you are in our project, and if you are able to see Jira Squad, Zephyr Squad, then click on it. If you are able to see Zephyr Squad, click on it. And when you click on it, the screen will refresh and you will see quite a new screen like this. Good so far? Now it will ask you, do you want to allow? Do you want to enable? Your screen will be different than mine. Just say allow and enable. Make sense or no? If your screen will be different than mine, allow and enable. So it will allow, just allow that, that's fine, and enable that. So here I enable and I'm here. Give me thumbs up if you're here. People on phone. Awesome. I'm hoping everyone is here. Now this process is quite simple, but make sure you understand logistics after, because no matter what I do, it is just a concept. Some team may use differently, some teams use differently. So right now, first of all, there's a new folder. What is new folder? It's a grouping. You want to do groups. So like example, if I'm a QA guy, I'll be doing thousands of test cases. One story will have 5-6 acceptance criteria. Yes or no? So if one story have 5 acceptance criteria, each acceptance criteria, you will have one test case. It is possible one acceptance criteria may have multiple test cases. So one story can have many test cases. So your test cases will be hundreds of test cases. So most team, they come up with a grouping structure. So for example, they create again, there's a personality, preference is my mistake. You can say dev test cases, QA test cases, you can do that. Or you can say functional test cases. You can say non-functional test cases. You can say alpha, beta, whichever ways you want. Different grouping. Why? Because you are creating test cases, and those who are a QA student, there are 7 to 10 type of test cases you write, right? Regression test case, unit test case, integration test case, security test case, performance test case, alpha test case, beta test case, right? All those different type of test case you write, sanity test case, smoke test case. You can create a group. So that way everyone know what you are doing. If you don't do group, then all test case will be like this, right? So let's create a group just for learning purpose. So I'm going to create a test cases here, and I'm going to click on new folder. And I'll say functional test case, right? Enter. So that is my one folder, functional. Means normally user will do this type of thing, right? So functional. So normally functionals are happy path, normally, right? So if I want non-functional, I click on new folder and say non-functional. Non-functional means security, performance. Those who have not, like those who know, right? We web service, we did a load test or performance test or endurance test or security test or stress test. There are tons of tests you have. You're gonna go crazy if you are a QA, right? I always tell people QA does a lot of heavy lifting, honestly speaking. The highest, if you ask me, but people work is the QA. I always have utmost respect for the QA because architect works the least, but QA work the highest. So if you are going into QA path, buckle up and and have a ride. You are normally going to work at least 10 to 12 hours minimum. Okay. If you're lucky, maybe 15 hours a day. And if you're lucky, Saturday, Sunday, mark my word, Saturday, Sunday disappear from your dictionary, because this is so fast paced. All issue will come on Friday. So your Friday evening is gone, and your Saturday definitely will be gone, because release will happen on Saturday. And if release happen on Saturday, Sunday will be screwed up, because release will draw, you will find issue. It's kind of shooting on your foot, right? You find issue, the development has to fix it. And until development fix, you can't strip. You have to wait till development fix. And when development fix, you have to fix, validate it so you can have release on time. Oh my God, it's so much work. So I have high respect, trust me. I'm not saying that QA is bad. You are the one who really take care of the quality part. So please have that muscles and passions. Don't assume Monday to Friday 8 to 5 work. I'll be honest with you. I normally work 14 hours a day, even though I get 8 hours paid. You all will work Saturday, Sunday, mostly unpredictable because of this journey.
I think you're right, sure. I think you're very right. Because I do Uber, so sometimes I'll pick people up around 11 o'clock coming from the offices. And I'll ask them, why are you coming out this late? And they'll say, well, we have a deadline that we have to meet. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, again, not all day, but I would say 80% time you will be dragging on weekends. Unless you're a good manager like me, I normally do balance activities. Some people work on this Saturday, some people work on that Saturday. You balance activity. But there are people that command and control, and they make life miserable. Be adaptive, right? You may have the situation, because here you're starting your own biodata. As soon as you write here test case 100, ask yourself question. If one test case take 1 minute, it take 100 minutes. So release happen, let's say 5 a.m. Just an example. So you have to finish that in a particular time frame before customers start using it, right? So in that case, if something doesn't work, you have to call people, you have to fix it, environment. So pressure will be significant high, because timelines and pressure will be there. But anyway, that's a side note. Now you can create multiple folder of your choice: functional, non-functional, performance, stress test, endurance, negative test case, like that. Now click on new test case. So let's click on new test case. Now what I am going to do, I'm going to do life easy. I'm going to create one test case per story. So life easy. But when you do project, you will create per story, you will have multiple test cases. Because for me, I have limited time and I cannot go too crazy. Otherwise it will take long time. So we'll do one story, one test case. But for your cases, you will do one story, multiple test case. Okay. Now click on test cases, right? You don't need like a years of experience to become this thing. Instantly you will be able to do. So this exercise which we are doing is a QA manual person does. Okay. But in industry, automation person also does that, but he will write a script for that. Now what automation and manual, the first step is common. So manual will remain here, while automation person will write Selenium or some kind of test, and through plugin, they will update the status through plugin. So there are a lot of plugin available. So like example, if you are writing, those who are automation engineer, they write test ng. And when test ng run, they automatically update the status. So they do automation. So the automation person work on two form. They write manual test case here, and then they do automation here. But if you're manual, you only focus on Jira and Zephyr. That's your life. So whatever I'm going to teach you today in 1 hour, you can actually make a career out of it. It's the same concept. So let's start. So first is the name. So what is your test case? So because we are doing business directory, so I'll say EC001 validate add business directory. So I give test case validate add business directory. Now objective will be definitely add business directory functionality, right? So here objective, I'll write down validate business directory functionality. Difficult? Not at all. Very simple English. Because I know my use case, my story, I just added where and I give a name. Always good idea to give appropriate name. Now precondition. Like if you have some, like QA knows precondition, that precondition means, like example, system is working, right? So system is working in QA environment or dev environment, whichever environment you have, right? So just a precondition, because before I start my test cases, whatever it needed, those who write what you call use cases, you will have precondition, right? If you write test cases, you will have precondition. Now, when you start this test cases, it will be draft mode. But once you are done, your manager or your leader will approve that. Without approve, you normally don't execute. So you will be in draft mode because you have not yet started. If your use case is, remember, use case or story, each story will have priority. If you are doing login, that will be high priority, then update phone number. So again, you can change the priority, medium, high, low. So I'll keep it normal for now. If you use component, you can select the component. If you're owner, you can specify owner. And if you know that how many hours you're going to spend for this test cases, approximately, you can write down. Normally people write down, so hours and minutes. So you can say 02, which is 2 hours, and let's say 10 minutes, or maybe 00. So you can specify that. Any questions so far? So far? Crystal clear? Baby thingy, right? Yes or no? In 1 hour, you can learn whole your career. So you can just specify like that. And in folder, your choice, which folder this test case will belong to. Because we are doing user perspective, we'll select functional. Everything is in front of you. I selected 2 hours. Remember 02 colon 00. Now, do I need to select 2 hours? Should I say 1 hour? I would always give buffer. Let me repeat, don't punish yourself. Don't do 1 hour because then there will be a gun. Are you done? So I always give a little buffer because, you know, in 2 hours, you have to do a lot of things. So give a little buffer. Don't say, I used to have a team member. I'll do in 2 minutes. You say, I'll be done in 2 minutes. After 5 minutes, your manager says, are you done? And that's it. Don't put yourself in a trouble. Just give a little bit extra buffer. If you give more window and finish early, people will appreciate. But if you give less window, people will punish you. So, yeah. So give a window. Now, moving along, we are going for test script. Now click on test script. Now test script, as I said before, there are 2 methods to write test scripts. Please see on the screen. Don't fall behind. There are 2 things. One is called step by step, which is a traditional way, and one is called BDD Gherkin way. I'm gonna write one test case in a step by step and one in a Gherkin. I hope you will understand. It's not that complex. So now I'm going to click on step by step. So click on that. And right here, so I'm going to write a step 1, what user will do or test case will do. So like we are doing add. So type Shamberg Marketplace homepage URL in the browser. So your test data, you click here and your test data will be Shamberg Marketplace URL. So you can write down this is your test data. So if you're doing login, then username and password, right? So type Shamberg Marketplace homepage URL in the browser, and this is what you need. Test data means username, password, test account, whatever you need in order to perform the test data, then you write down. This is your test data, right? Now, when you type this thing, what you're gonna get that. So here you can say Shamberg Marketplace homepage shows up and press enter. When you press enter, you get a next step like that. Sorry, my mistake, tab. My mistake, tab. If you press tab, it will go to next screen, next step. So first step, I type the Shamberg Marketplace homepage URL. This is what I need, and I get Shamberg Marketplace homepage shows up. Shamberg Marketplace homepage shows up. Good so far? Now the second thing, I click on So I'll say, click on add business directory. Now here I don't need to provide test data because I'm just clicking. So I'll say add business directory. Page shows up. Pretty easy because you click on it. So now your form shows up. Now press tab. Tab is the switch on your keyboard. Now basically what happened, you click on, now the form shows up. So where you enter the details. So enter business info and submit.
Can you please make your screen a little bit bigger? Thank you.
So you enter business info and submit. Right? Add business info and submit. Now we need a lot of information. So that's our test data. So for business info, what information I need? That my test data, right? So here type Samberg Marketplace homepage URL, and then your homepage shows up. You click add business directory, right? Click on add business directory link. I would say link, by mistake. Just do link or option, whatever you like. And then that shows up. Now here enter business info and submit. So here you need a data. So here you can say business name you need, business website, yes or no, right? Business contact information, product service. Again, you got the idea. Whatever you need to enter business info, write down. And when you write here, what should happen? When you submit, you should say thank you message shows up. And you should say a confirmation email. So you can specify that part. So I kind of create a simple test case. I can write that in Excel and I can upload also. That's not a problem because you are using squad version. I don't have that option, but if you're using enterprise version, you can do bulk upload. Bulk upload means you can right away upload all. So they do ask money for that. So you can see upgrade version is there. So through upgrade, you can do that in case if you want. Good, crystal clear, easy. Any questions so far? You don't have to do exactly what I copy. Just make sure you understand this is what QA or user will do. This is you need, and this is you expect. Makes sense or no? This is what you expect. So if I perform this activity and if I get that test pass, if I do this and it doesn't show this, then test fails. Very simple. So this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm expecting. And these are need in order to perform my task. So now this is good enough. As you can understand, I'm done with that. I don't have to do any other information. Now click on execution. Click on executions. Now we are not going to execute it because we have not got approval yet, right? Because we are still in a draft mode. So we have done. So let's go to traceability. Make sure you follow me. In case if you are writing a little bit less here, don't cry. You don't have to write exactly things. Write something at least so you can move forward. This is your expectation. This is your action. And this is your need, right? So now let's go to traceability. And traceability, we need to ask question. Why are we writing this test case? So we are writing this test case to validate story. So we need to link them. So in order to link them, you have click here plus sign. Because we are doing add business directory, so we'll say we're going to link them. So click here. And when you click here, you get all those options, right? Yes or no? Now, first you need to write summary. So summary will say test, right? Add business directory. Now here there's a parent. This parent has to be your story. So you're writing test business directory. That's something you write, which gives a meaning. And here you select the story which you want to test it out, which is in our case, it will be add business directory. So if I click here, there should be a add business directory. Where did it go? Did I not do it? I thought I had it. Where is that? Why it's not showing up here? Are you guys able to see or no? No, here it's all this are here.
No.
No. This is like business directory. Here you go. The parent is business directory, right? Business. I can see my business directory, but oh, I understand. I know. Sorry for that. Hello. Sorry, my mistake. We have to select test here. That's why it is not selected test. Select issue type test. Issue type test. Now you should select that. It should show up. Add. Still not showing up. 1 second. Why? It's a parent. You selected to test. What did we write? See. We have only one. Why it did not show up here? No. It should show up. It's showing an epic. If it is showing epic, it should show up. You are not able to see at all, right? You only see business direct, right?
No, we can't see that.
Yes, same thing.
Give me a second.
Yeah, that's all.
I'm just
epic.
thinking something is not correct. Give me a second. I think I'll come back to here. Right now, I'll just save it. Don't do anything. You just stay here. I'll come back. So this is issues. Maybe it's refresh issue. No, but it shows my epic. So it shows my epic. Why am I not seeing? So issue type is a test. Now I have parent and show done. Oh, show done issue. Done issue. Do I have? Not here. We need to find out why. Where did it go? Where did it go? Does it have here? Okay, here you go. It's here. Okay, so it is understanding. Got it. So here it's add business info, right? Okay. So I think it's a little bit down. I'll show you. I'll show you. So okay, let me go back here. So first of all, I'm here, right? And we did a plus sign, right? So issue type is here. See, some issue types are unavailable due to incompatible field configuration, and don't worry about it. So our issue type should be test case. So select test. Okay. And now select test, and then we will write here summary. So summary is like test, add business direct, right? Now parent, it is showing me epic here. Select epic, not a problem. Show the epic, no problem. Right? Now if you scroll down, then there is a link, right? Associate link, relate to. Do you see that? Relate to. Now here select add business. So here you will see add business. Do you guys see that? Like that. Makes sense. Now I'm going to say create. So this way I have linked that. So I have linked issue, this one, and I link them because the test cases which you created is not visible in our issue. So now we have link. So you can see how my link is, which is the test coverage. So what is coverage? Coverage means story has to have associated test case. So now we have story, we have test cases. So far we are creating test cases, right? We are creating test cases, but they are not linked. So now this is link. Now go to next one. In this one, I'm done. So I'm going to click on save. So this part, I'm done. So I save it. Once I save it, you can go back to here, test cases. Go back to test cases. Go back to test cases. So if you go back to test cases, you will see something like this. Make sense? It's in draft mode. Why? Because our manager has not reviewed. Now I'm going to create another test case, but this time I'm going to write a gherkin and I'll link into other story so you can understand how it works. You can write as many test cases you want, but I'm just going to demonstrate it. So click on next new test case. Please see on the screen. New test case. Now this time, let's say I want to do view business directory, right? So for that, I'll say TC002 view, sorry, my mistake, validate view business directory. And objective, definitely we need to validate. So we'll say validate business directory. That's my objective. Functionality. Now precondition, if you have, just write down. So precondition will be add business directory functionality is working, right? So as long as functionality is working, you can part here. So you specify that. Again, status will be draft. Now folder, whatever folder you have, this is also functional. So I'm going to use functional. If you want to change priority, again, there is no big priority, so I'll keep it as is. So I'll use functional folder, functional, right? Now, if you want a time, I said this can be done in 1 hour, so 0100, 0100. This will help you time, like are you behind, are you ahead, like that. Right, so we did validate. I'm going to do a couple of only because limited time, but you should do a couple of more. Each of your team members should do when you do project. So at least you get a comfort feeling. Now let's click on test script. So when you click on test script, we can use gherkin here. The test script. Now I'm not going to do step by step. I'm going to do slick here and make a gherkin. So gherkin is very popular for BDD. BDD stands for behavioral driven development. It's now becoming a more popular because people like to do more user-centric, and you can write in English, and this BDD normally written by product owner. So it's kind of, you can cut and paste. You don't have to write it. Mostly product owner will write this gherkin. So you can see here, I write here and I'll say given business info is added when I click on view business info link, then I see business details. And in parentheses, you can write down business name, website, product, service. Remember, we talk about that. You can specify that this is all I should see, that, right? Contact info, like that. Again, you can go complex as you want, but keep it like high level because this is normally written by product owner. And QA kind of take that given, when, then, like that. So they write down, if you have multiple scenario, you write down scenario 1 like that, and you write this thing. Then you have scenario 2, you write down that. So make sure you write in multiple cases. So you write down that, so the QA has to verify all scenario. So you have to write step-by-step scenario. So far, so good. Now, same concept. I'll not be able to execute because it's still draft. So I kept it here. I'm not executing because it's still draft. I'll go to traceability. Traceability. And in traceability, I'll click on plus sign. And then same concept, test. And now I'm testing here. So test view business directory and parent, it's the Epic only. So we'll select that. Now you can see here, we are selecting test here. Automatically it came here, so no problem. We are just writing test view business directory. We are selecting this. and at the bottom, we'll link them. We have to link it. If you don't link it, will be a trouble because you will not know why you're doing this thing, right? So we'll say relate to, and then issue, and then here we'll say view. So here you go, view business directory. So I have view business directory. Okay. Now I'll say create. So that part is done. I don't have any other things to do, so I'm going to save this thing. So I just did 2 test cases. Any questions so far? So far, people on phone, any questions? Now, if I want to spend time, I can go back to, I save it, make sure you save it. If I want to spend some time, let's do test cases 1. Let's do 1 more test cases. That way you will all understand. So I'm doing test cases. Click on test cases. Now you can see I have 2 test cases. Name are well defined, right? Validate, add, view. Now I want to do update, right? So let's click on, anytime you click on test cases, you will come here. Now let's click on new test case 1 more time, please. New test cases. This time I'm going to set TC003. I'll say update. Sorry, my mistake. Validate, update, business info. And objective will be, we can copy from here, update business info functionality. Now, preconditions is you have added the business directory. So added business directory, add business directory functionality is working. So this condition has to be there because otherwise you will not be able to update, because somebody has to add first before they update. Again, select the folder. It's again functional. You can also do non-functional when you do project, but concept is still same. So we are doing validate like that. Good so far? Right? Now I'm going to do test script. This time I'm going to use normal test script. No, I'm going to do normal. So I'm going to do step by step. Sorry, question?
Yeah, one question. So
hour, sorry. I will say 2 hours, let's assume. Yes. So 0, 2, 0, 0. Yes, Rajan.
so each of these connected in the traceability is equal to code coverage or much more than that?
I will show you. Once you see that, you will understand.
Okay,
It
cool.
will take me time, like 5-10 minutes, but I'll show you. Yeah, so click on test script. And this time I'm going to do step by step. Okay. Now, in order for me update, so same concept, like, type Shambar marketplace, right? URL in the browser. Sometimes, monotomous, you have to literally spend a lot of time. And here, again, same URL, so you can write down if you want, Shambar marketplace URL, right? Whatever URL you want, you have to write down. So sometimes a lot of repeated work. The reason you do that, because you not guarantee that same person will be executing that, right? Homepage shows up. So, and then you do tab. Tab means next step. So when you do that, so here you are click on existing business info business link. And here you don't have to provide any details. Now update business info page shows up. Update business detail. Now here, what you are updating, like example, you're updating phone number, or you're updating email, or you're updating contact info, whatever you are doing. Again, you should do 3 test cases, right? Only phone, only email, only all you have to check. So QA have to be creative here. and then confirmation page shows up. So there are a couple of steps. Again, if you're a detail, you can write as much as you want. This is your steps. Now I need to link them. So again, going to traceability. If you're a QA student, I would highly recommend that you do more test case and be comfortable with this. Good so far. Now click on traceability. Yeah, we don't have to save for now. We'll do traceability. We'll click on plus sign and we'll do linkage. So here we'll say test update business directory. Make sure it's a selected test. Okay. Parent will select same again. So business directory. And if you scroll down, link them my related to we have update directory. So if I searched update, you should see that update, and then you save it. So I link them related to, and then I link, this is my update business directory. So you can type here, you can type and it will show up update business directory, right? You can type and show up, and now create it. Once you do that, now let's save it. So save it. So at this moment, I have 3 test cases, right? I link them to the story. Think about that. You might have 5 to 10 stories. So you have to create appropriate test case and link them. So in case if you're done with that, you come back to the test cases. Now you come back to test case here, you have to talk to your leader to review this. Remember, the way life works is like this way. Development teams and you are all on the same page. You started sprint, right? You started sprint. So that during sprint time, you all have taken stories, right? Yes or no? Now, remember each story has a task called create test case, yes or no? Remember we created create a wireframe, create service program, create test case. So you did that. Now your test case is done. So now you ask your QA lead. So QA lead will come and say, you know what? I saw that it looks good. So you click on draft. So here I'll say, and then they will, 1 second, they will, there was a button which allow to upload that, maybe not visible here, because you can upload, you can say approve all at once. There was a way you can do approve all of them. Not seeing here, but there was a way you can say approve all. But anyway, right now I'm not able to see that. If you find, let me know. But right now let's do one by one, because otherwise, so you your QA lead will come here and say, you know what, I saw your test cases. He will go through all the details. He'll go through the script, everything he likes, and then he go to details and he will say now approve. Make sense or no? So he will make approve and he will save it. Check and balance, right? So he will check that. It is possible you will show this thing to the product owner and he will say, yeah, looks good, like that. So you can see approve. Now go to next one. So this way your, what you call acceptance criteria, your acceptance criteria, whatever steps you write, those are appropriate. That's what you are trying to say. So he will say, I approve. This looks good. Means this is the real test case. Whatever you are writing, you are not missing any steps. So he will come here and he will approve. At this moment, you are ready to run. But if you want to ready to run, so all test case, you make it an approved state. Now, of course, you cannot run without approved state. So you got approval state. Now you need a time to run the test case, which is called test cycle. So think about, you are here. Development team is somewhere here. First sprint is done, sprint planning is done. Some of they are working, and now some story is complete. So you may want to create a test cycle somewhere here, maybe test cycle here, and here. So you get opportunity to test this, opportunity to test this, and opportunity to test this, right? So you create a couple of test cycles. So I'm going to do 3 test cycles with a proper window. Normally in company, there are different ways people do test cycles. So one is dev cycle, one is QA cycle, one is performance cycle, one is like a UAT cycle, one is like other test cycle, because QA is not busy. Developers are busy. The QA has to do a lot of tests. It is possible. Like example, please pay attention. Example, this is your first sprint. Development is doing development, yes or no? While development is doing development, you didn't get anything. But what happened? Development complete the work. At that time, you are testing in a QA. And then this will go to developer will test their work in dev environment. Yes or no? But when they complete, their work come to QA. So you will be testing in a QA. Yes or no? Now, when you are testing here, you will find issues. So you raise a bug. The development team is now in a second sprint. They will fix that and then they will deploy. So you in QA. And when you are thoroughly testing it, go to UAT. UAT also you need to test it. So there are cycles. So in industry, normally you follow 2 weeks behind. Development team will do, and when it comes to QA, you do test cycle in QA 2 weeks behind. Why? Because you want to give developer teams enough time to do their part. They will do internal work because they are going to test, but before they come to QA, they will do verify, which is the development verification. Then QA, then UAT, and then integration, and then production. So there are different cycles you may be doing that. Right now I'm creating hypothetical cycle because we don't have multiple sprint. But if you have multiple sprint 1 complete, then things will go to QA environment. Then sprint 2 completes. Then the first will go to UAT, and the second one will go to like that. So this is like a chain of reaction. So overall, it takes around 4 to 5 weeks to production. Let me explain. 2 weeks in development, 2 weeks in QA. So far so good, because you have to create at least 3 cycles to make sure it's thoroughly tested. Then maybe approximately 1 week for UAT, and then 1 week in production. So if somebody asks, from the time it complete till it goes to production, normally it takes 4 weeks. Why? Because you don't want to rush. Because if you rush, you will have escape defect. Escape defect means you did not do thorough job in a quality. Makes sense or no? So it's okay to do a little slow. Ideally, this window can be minimized to 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks, but 4 weeks is not that bad because in 4 weeks you are in production. Makes sense or not? So sometime if your emergency, we talk about last class, you go to patch, that will roll in 1 day. But that is only one small change you are making. But the production, proper production, it takes time. Now, let's go back here. Now, let's say we want to create cycle. So there is an option here called test cycle. Let's click on it. So click on test cycle. Again, same concept. We have folder. So we'll create a folder first. And we'll create it, let's say this is a QA cycle. So we'll say QA circle cycle. So I'll say QA cycle. Press enter. So that's my QA folder. And new folder again. And I'll say UAT cycle. Means over there I'm going to do UAT testing. If I have integration, so I'll new cycle, integration cycle. Again, choice is yours. You have to define your cycle. 1 time dev, 1 time QA, 1 time UAT, 1 time integration, because you have to balance out. Last sprint, you might be doing QA. The first sprint, maybe you are helping that. And third sprint, maybe you are doing integration. Again, there are different cycles you have. Because your test case may be divided. You might be working with multiple teams or multiple stories. So you may have different stages. Doesn't matter what folder structures you do. Goal of the exercise is you have 2 week sprint and you are going to do approximately 3 cycles. Can I do 4 cycles? You can if need arise, but give some time. Why? Because if you test it, you give a couple of days, so development team can fix it and give you return. So you can test it again, development team fix it and return. If you do too many cycles, development team will not have enough time to fix it. So right now we have 3 cycles, no problem. Now I'll say new test cycle, click on new test cycle. Now here I will give a name of my cycle. So I'll say, you know what, I want to test this first cycle. I want to do thorough testing about certain functionality. So I can say, I will be verifying add business functionality, right? In a dev. So QA verification, let's say QA validate in QA validate add functional business add functionality. So this is my cycle. You can specify day, time, and whatever you want. So which we are going to do. So QA validate business add functionality. Now folder structure, you pick the folder which you created. So out of that, I'm going to click on QA cycle, because this is what I will be testing in a QA environment. So what will happen? This is called plan activity. It means if there are shared environment, among multiple teams, then you pick your timing. So that cycle, that server will be available for you. Because this QA environment, please understand, QA environment may be one, but there are 3 QA teams. They each are sharing, which is called time slice. They will pick their own slice. They say, I will be using QA environment. The other guy say, I'll be using QA environment. So server will be one, but testing will be done by 3 different teams. This is called time slice. The reason you do that, to reduce the cost, right? So it's a pre-plan activity. So you come here and you are saying that release again, if you are R1, if you are sprint, you can specify that, and the timeline. Now choice is yours. When you want to start and when you want to finish. So let's hypothetically pick a couple of days. So let's say I want to start on 21 and I'll finish on 22. This cycle, 21 to 22, I'll finish it. Because I'm only testing one functionality. So far, so good. Now, I don't have to give a traceability right now as such, but if I click here, please understand, I have this one, I have selected this, I have given my timeline. Now, what am I going to test in this cycle? Because cycle is nothing but timeline. What am I going to test? So click on test cases and you pick the test cases out of available test cases. So here you click on test cases. Now you click on add test case. So you will see all 3 test cases. You can have a bunch of test cases, but right now I have 3 test cases. So you click on that. So when you click on it, you will get all 3 test cases which you just created. So I'll pick only one which I'm testing, add functionality. So I'll just click on that. So the unused, oh, I didn't save it. Yeah. What is the problem? What was it?
Checkbox.
Save the data.
Did I not save something? What happened with this guy?
You have to check the box.
1 second. I had to go. Maybe it was saying I did not save something. Let me go back again. No problem. It came out for some reason. I hope my work is not lost. Okay, test cycle. New. Okay, let me do again. Some reason, I don't know what happened. Okay, so again, I have to write QA. Here you go, right? QA validate business add functionality. Now, my folder was QA cycle, and I selected day 21, 22. I'm repeating again, right? Now, when I went to test cases, right, I got this one, right? So add test case, right? And I click on it, right? Yes or no? I'm doing add only, and now do add. Make sense? So I check this thing. Please see it. I check this thing, and now I click on add, and I'm done. So this one is done. So you can see test case visible. If I have team associated, then I'll say this one will be tested by this guy, Mike and all, if associated. If I have sprint created, then I'll associate sprint. If I have environment created, this is normally Scrum Master will do this part. He will have environment ready and all. You may assign team member if you want to, but right now I'm done with one and I'll save it. So this cycle is ready. Now let's do one more cycle. So we have to click here again, one more. Click on test cycle, one more here. Click on test cycle. Now I'll go back to test cycle. Now this cycle, I'll create a second cycle. I'll run 2 test cases at the same time. Okay. So let's create a new test cycle. Please understand, I'm in a test cycle. In test cycle, I'm going to create a new test cycle. Now new test cycle, again, I'll say this time, I'll say we are doing, let's say, validation. So QA, validate, view and update functionality, right? Same concept, select the timing. So definitely first 2 days is gone. So I'll test maybe 27 and 28. I'm testing 27 and 28. I'm testing 27 and 28. You can arbitrarily select this. So development team knows that you need their functionality is ready under this time frame. You're giving them timeline that I will be testing in this. So development team will plan accordingly. It's just a planning activity. If you feel like you're behind, you can change also. And management knows that when you are checking that. So it's kind of calendar entry. Now go back to your test cases. Go back to your test. No. Click on test cases.
Aren't we choosing any folder like QA cycle, UAT cycle?
You can select the same folder. Yeah, you can select the same folder. QA cycle, right? You select the window. You select the window, select your thing and go to test cases, and I'm going to add both test cases. So I'm going to add both test cases. This time I'm going to click on add test case. I'm going to select validate and I'm going to select update and I'll say add. And now I'm going to save this. So this way my test cycles are ready. First cycle I'm running 1 test case. Second cycle I'm running 2 test cases. In a real life, each cycle you will have 50-20 test cases. But right now, for me, I have only few test cases. So let's click on test cycle now. After you save it, click on test cycle. So you are here. Can I count everyone is here? Right? As you can see that right now, nothing is executed. Nothing is executed. It's a 0 cycle, right? People on phone, I'm hoping you guys are with me. Give me thumbs up. We are almost there. Good. Steve is good. Okay. Good. Perfect. Now, just curiosity, I want to report. I want to see what's going on in report. So I click on report. So if I click on report, there are a bunch of reports by default available. Now, your choice how to see the report. So if I want to go directly traceability. So if I click on directly traceability, then you will see like this and click on this. So you kind of filter that report, click on this thing. So traceability and click on that. So when you click on that, you will see and then select whatever you have right now. For me, I would say like last test execution. No, I'll say all test execution, whatever it is, and I generate. There is nothing. So you can see here, it's giving me, let me go to back. Maybe I went fast. I'm selecting all because I know I have not executed anything yet. Yes or no? I have not executed anything. So if I generate here, so you can see that it says that we are doing coverage. We have 3 test cases associated, and this associated with the appropriate story. All the test cases reviewed by this, but we have not executed yet. Now, we have not yet found any defects or bug, right? So now there's nothing much I can do because I have not executed yet. So now let's go back and we're going to execute one by one. So let's click on test cycle. Click on test cycle. And first, I'm going to click on the first one. Follow that. I'm in a first one. So I click on the first one, test cycle. So I come here. Now, before I start, can I count everyone is here? Let me repeat one more time just to make sure you are with me.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm clicking here. Okay. So I'm clicking here. So when I click here, I'll go to the next screen like this. The screen will look like this. So first thing, you start play. If you start play, it will start counting second. Look at that. It will start counting second. And you scroll down and now you're going to say, this is the manual. You will be doing this exercise. You will read here, you open the browser and you say, okay, browser shows up. So you can, your 4 or 5 choice. You type the browser, sample place showed up. So you can say pass. So you click on that pass. So it's pass. Then you go to next step and say add business directory link, click on that and say, yeah, it worked. Then you can see time is going. You see, you are spending time. Now you say, okay, enter business details. So you start entering first name, last name, and say, oh, I got an error, right? Something. So what you're gonna do? You're gonna click here. This is the block, fail. Yes or no? Beautiful. And now this part is done. Now, as you go, this test case, entire test case did not fail, but some step passed, some step failed. Now you go to back. Make sense or no? Are you understanding? Now do back arrow. So if you click on back, so if you go to back, you will see the structure here that it is done, but it failed. Make sense or no? Now let's go to the next cycle, because you're a QA, you're not going to stop, you're going to continue. So now come here. Now you have two test cases. So you're going to pick one of them. So you pick one of them and then you start executing your time. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, here the execution step. Yeah, my mistake. Let me go back one more time, because sometimes, you know, it's a little bit difficult to explain and do the thing. So test cycle, I'm in the second one. Okay, I'm clicking on second one. Second one has a two test cases. So that's why it shows both of them. Yes or no? Now I'm going to pick one of them. So I'm going to click on one of them. I click one of them. So if I click one of them, so it shows up here. Now this is elapsed time. So I will click on the execution. I'm going to click on execution. I'm going to click on execution. So when I come in execution, now click on this link, so it will go further. So if I click on this link, now I'm coming to this and I'm going to play this thing. Okay, first you need to play, so we know how fast we are executing that. So we played that. Now you came here and you have thing here given, so you can follow that. Click on the business info link and see the business detail, and you realize that there is a problem. There is a problem that the previous test case was not working. Yes or no? So what you're going to do? You're going to do block. Do you see this symbol? Yes or no? Because remember, add did not work. So you do block. So you do block here. So you can see it marked block. You guys agree? Now you kind of come out because there's nothing special you can do. So you're going to do back. And now you come back and save that. So you save this back and save it. Now again, you go to your test cycle. So I'll go back to my test cases here. And now I can't do the third one also, because this test case which I have, I will not be able to run because the add is not working. Yes or no? So now I can click here, update business info, right? Go to execution. I know I'm not able to run. So what I'm going to do, I click on the link, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to do block, because I can't do anything. So here I'll just say block, and block. Make sense so far? So now I'm done. I go to back and now save this. So now my management asks, are you guys done? I say, yeah, I did it. So management say, can you give me a report? So we'll give a report for management. So click here, test cases. Click on test cases. Make sure you save it as you go further. So you are here. Now you go to report. Click on a report. As you can see here, one is error, and this is to report. And now you can say test execution. Click on test execution. And now you have many options, whichever you like. So example, summary as a list, summary as that, whichever you like, you can pick that. So whichever you like, pick one of them. So like example, like I click on the first one, right? Because these are different graphs, reports, charts. Click on the first one, you click on that, and now you can select generate. So you get a graph that this is the graph you see. Overall, you executed 3 out of 1 fail, 2 blocks. Make sense or no? Now you will create more test cycle number 2. Make sense? So now management say, okay, did you create a bug? No, I have not created a bug. How do I create a bug? I'll show you. Go to back. So now I'll go back to my test cycle. I'm here. Now in test cycle, this is where my test cases were. So I go there, and wherever you have marked fail, right? This is the fail. If you scroll down, wherever you mark fail, there is a options available gear icon, where it says create issue or bug. So you can see create issue. Do you guys agree? Yes or no? So you are now going to create a bug here. So you can click on a bug, create issue, and then you're going to say here, instead of test, you're going to say bug. And you can say that what was not working, something is not working. So example, just making up right now. So phone number is not working. Just I'm making it, right? Ideally, you should put a screenshot here. So you can add a screenshot, you can provide detail also, right? Whatever you want, you can add detail about that, right? Then you create it. So you create that. So now that part, you created bug. But then what happened? Right now, if you want to link properly, you have to go back again, making sure this is linked. See, this is the issue. This is the issue, SMP3. You can click here and you can link with the story, you can link with the test case, so you can have better traceability. But you can see right now, SMP13 is linked here. Make sense or no? Now developer will work on it, they will fix it, they will come back. And when they come back, you will rerun again. And when you rerun again, if you feel like now this is pass, then you can say pass. Make sense or no? So when they pass, you come back and say this is resolved. So you'll update that part, right? So now when they fix it, you say pass. You go back here, go to now next one, because that is pass. Now you start running other test cases. So you start running other test cases. So as you run other test cases, because it was blocked, you test it, that is also pass. Now you save it, go back again, you test other one, and now you go through other test case and see if there is a other test case which was blocked because of the first functionality. Now you say pass, pass, pass again if it is pass. If not, you create defect. Until they resolve, you are not making pass. Now all test case pass. Now at this moment, you go back to test cases. Go back to test cases. So your test cases. So go back to test cases like this. Go back to test cases. Now in this test cases, you have executed all 3 test cases, so it's all green. It means all pass, right? Now in this test case, you click on one of the test case and then go to your traceability. Go to your traceability. Go to your traceability. And in that traceability, remember this to do, you have to make it done. So you have to click traceability and then you go here. So when you click here, you will have a status update. You need to update the status. It automatically updates the status nicely. Check it out. It automatically updates. You click here and it will update the status for you. So you can see nicely the steps it will add it. And then here you can say done. Make sense? Done. So that part is done. Now you go back to again your original test case where you have. So you have to again a little bit back and forth. You have to go through that. Normally you save here. I normally go to directly here Zephyr squad. I normally directly go here. I'll do one more time so you will understand how easy it is. So each test case you're going to click on it. Each test case you're going to click on it. You will go to traceability. You're going to click on traceability. After clicking on test case, you're going to click on traceability. And then you're going to click on the link. You're going to click on the link. Once you click on the link, you have to update your status. So there is a Zephyr squad is there. Click on the link, which will show the status. It means you will have a coverage that this test case is approved and tested, and make sure you give a status that is done, right? Now go back to again projects card. And as you complete, click on that, then traceability, then you click on the link, then you click on your Zephyr squad, and you complete as a done. So now all test case completed. We are now at that stage, we want to see our coverage. So what is our coverage? There are two words, test coverage, right? Test coverage means if your story and story has a two acceptance criteria, you only tested one, then 50% coverage. If your story and two acceptance criteria tested both, then you have 100% coverage. So if story has test cases and you don't have enough coverage, then that coverage will create an escape defect because you have not tested thoroughly. So our goal is to make sure each and every acceptance criteria we cover. If story has complete test coverage, then we call 100% test coverage. Make sense? Now go back to your Zephyr squad. Now go to report and you will have much better report. So click on report. Like I like to do traceability now. So click on traceability. And if you click on traceability, you can see now nice complete detail about and generate it. And now you can see the report. So you can see here, this part, your things are there. You can see pass. It didn't refresh yet, but we did a complete. So it should be completed. This one also complete. So this way you can see that your coverage will have complete details about that. Your 3-story, your test cases are there. You pass, who executed, when they executed, like that. Now go back, and if you want to see some other report, so you can go back here and go to test cycle reports. Click on report, and let's say go for test execution. So report, go to test execution. Now you can say test execution result summary and generate it. There are a bunch of graphs and charts you can see now. You can see all the details about that. As you progress, you have nice reports generated. Everything what you did, how you did, and other details will be generated. And you can nicely generate report and metrics. Make sense? Question, concerns, doubt.
Why did it not say done?
Sorry?
Why did they not say done? They still said to do.
I think it's a refresh issue. It's a refresh issue, I believe. It should be done because
because I seen you change them each individually, but
yeah, let me see. Might be a refresh issue. Let me see. It should be done. So last test execution. See coverage test cases generate. Let me see if I refresh. It might be a refresh issue, but it should be done. Let me see here. Why it's still not save it? We put our done here, right? See, we put done here. It mark also done, right? It mark also done.
let's see that.
Here it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We said the story is done. Now the test.
Yeah, this one is done. Okay, so this might be the issue. Now let's go back to this and check it out. It should be done now. Yeah. So when you do your exercise, let's do this test reports and all. Create a nice report and generate like PowerPoint accordingly. But this is like a very simple tool. Most of the time you are doing this thing. When you do it, you will know, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this. So in your team, if you are a QA team member, give them opportunity to create at least one story, create a couple of test cases, let them run it, and don't run all test cases on the same day. Maybe create a cycle which you run on Monday or Tuesday, create another cycle which you run on Thursday. So this way you can run appropriate cycle because your time will be captured properly. There are some reports you can generate. There's a, I think, timestamp report also there. So if you generate report here, like time and effort report, traceability report, right? Defect report. So there are kind of nice data over time. So you can generate nice report also. If you do properly, you will see like traceability. Right now I have only 1 point because I'm running only today. But if you do it properly, you will see like how many test cases we ran, like that. How many test cases you ran, how many test cases passed, how many test cases in a block, like that. You can see the report. Good. So that's all I have from my side. Any question, concern before we adjourn?
Just one quick question, Tushar. Once the bug comes in, the Scrum is out of the window.
Why?
How is the Scrum and the bug managed? Can you?
First of all, I think your word base are a little bit confusing. Scrum and bug. You use very difficult word for me. You're talking about sprint or Scrum? Because that's what I'm confused.
Yeah, there's no sprint, sorry. When
Scrum
you're in the sprint, when you have a
Scrum is
bug.
concept, right? Scrum is a concept.
Yeah.
Call
Sprint, sorry.
right?
Sprint.
So-
Sprint and the Scrum
So
plan.
what happened? Normally, when you do capacity, right? Sprint planning capacity, we normally keep 10% capacity reserved for a bug. We reserve it. So a product owner might think about, hey, we have 10% capacity reserve. Why don't we fix it? So he will assign to the same sprint, or he will assign to the next sprint, like that. So Scrum is, everyone knows, right? Scrum is the project management. But in sprint, we normally, the way I normally do in my team, like this way, I do 10% production support, 10% production support, 10% we reserve for bug and issue, which is last sprint, whatever we develop, we might have. And then there is some 5 to 10%, some researcher spike and all. And then we only use capacity of 65 to 70%. So we never over capacity. So you don't take, even we say team capacity, team velocity, right? We reduce our capacity because we know that our product is in a production. Customer will complain, some issue will come. So we need to consider unexpected behavior, right? So we do reserve capacity. If there is no production issue, we use this time for development, but we reserve it. So we can manage our unexpected outcome, right? Because sometimes there are a lot of production issue, a lot of customer complaint. You can adjust that. And product owner may be very dynamic. He says drop story 1 and story 2, fix bug 1 and bugs 2, because that's a showstopper. So it's all about product owner will do, but they normally don't impact sprint. They normally don't impact sprint. They use the reserve capacity, and the reserve capacity normally 10 to 20%. Normally team keeps it if products in production.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
So Tushar.
Yep.
Yeah. So during the test cases, if you notify a bug, observe a bug, is the bug created before the report is generated or is after?
Sorry, I didn't get the question. Bug?
So, is the bug created before the report is generated?
No, report you can generate anytime.
Okay.
Report is dynamic. You can generate anytime. Bug you only do when you run the test. When you run test case, it pass or fail, right? So that time you bug generate. Report you can generate anytime, right? Report has nothing to worry about, right? If you write a bug, it will be visible. If you did not write bug, it will not be visible in report, right?
Okay.
And sorry, one last thing I didn't mention, but quickly, dashboard. I want to add my dashboard. You don't have to do it, but right now, if I go to SMP, I can add now one more dashboard thingy, right? So let's example, I want to add it, right? This dashboard. So now I have Zephyr. So I can add a Zephyr dashboard. So if I do Zephyr, so I can add Zephyr test reports. So like example, I can add a report like, so you can have test reports and all. So if you run it, second, here, project, what is the project? Sample Marketplace. Yeah. So if I run it, you can add your test report here. Make sense? So you can search Zephyr and you can add all test report now. You can also add this one. Let me add quickly. So you can add test report, sample marketplace, and your dashboard will be now much more richer.